June 4, 2026, was a collision of opposing forces. On a single Thursday, the tech economy saw successful aerospace launches sharing the headlines with a massive financial sell-off, crashing in red. It began with SpaceX announcing the largest IPO in history. Simultaneously, Bitcoin experienced a $1.5 billion liquidation event, and Apple signed an alliance with two of its biggest competitors to salvage its AI strategy. We often view technological progress as this smooth upward line, a predictable trajectory where one success leads logically to the next. The reality is more volatile. Progress at the bleeding edge is built on extreme contradictions, high-stakes compromises, and the occasional catastrophic failure. To understand how the next decade is actually being built, we have to look at the paradoxes of this specific day, where security is born from risk, and massive breakthroughs are fueled by disaster. SpaceX filed for a $75 billion IPO, setting a fixed price of $135 a share. This gives the company a $1.75 trillion valuation, with founder Elon Musk retaining over 82% of the voting power. Hours later, Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket exploded during a static fire test in Florida. The blast produced a 7,000-foot thermal radius, destroying the vehicle and causing severe structural damage to the launch complex. While Blue Origin's leadership promised a relaunch before the end of the year, the scale of the pad destruction makes that timeline unlikely. Aerospace analysts expect a delay into 2027, while federal investigators determine the cause of the failure. Outside the high-stakes commercial race, NASA operates with a different cadence. At the Goddard Space Flight Center, technicians in clean suits completed the final inspection of the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. The primary mirror is flawless. This telescope has a field of view 100 times larger than Hubble, allowing it to map billions of galaxies and search for exoplanets through large-scale panoramic surveys. Space exploration is now a divided sector, split between the high-risk trillion-dollar gambles of private companies and the slow, meticulous scientific precision required to observe the distant universe. In the financial markets, Bitcoin dropped below $62,000, triggering a $1.5 billion liquidation cascade. It was one of the largest single-day sell-offs of the year. This chart illustrates a massive capital rotation. Institutional investors were rotating their money out of volatile digital assets and into what they saw as more stable, high-growth equity plays, like the SpaceX IPO. This exodus created a feedback loop. As prices fell, leveraged long positions were systematically closed, which triggered further sell-offs and pushed Bitcoin toward its intraday low of $61,500. SpaceX's own SEC filing shows why this capital rotation is an illusion. The company holds 18,712 Bitcoin on its balance sheet, valued at $1.29 billion. For the investors fleeing crypto volatility, buying into the SpaceX IPO actually maintains their exposure to it. The aerospace economy and the digital asset market are now inextricably linked. Apple faced a different crisis. Siri had fallen significantly behind generative AI models like ChatGPT and Gemini, leaving the company's flagship devices without a competitive assistant. To catch up, Apple signed a $1 billion alliance with Google and Nvidia. This deal allows Apple to use Google's Gemini models and Nvidia's Blackwell chips to completely rebuild Siri for its next operating system. The center of this truce is a hardware-level technology called confidential computing. This creates a trusted execution environment that isolates data within the GPU while it is being processed. Because the data remains encrypted even during processing, Google's cloud systems and Nvidia's hardware never see the actual content of the user's request. Only Apple holds the keys to decrypt the final result. This allows them to outsource the massive compute power needed for AI without compromising their brand's promise of user privacy. Even the most closed tech ecosystems are now forced into high-risk alliances. To provide modern AI capabilities, Apple had to rely on the very competitors it once sought to shut out. Space, finance, and artificial intelligence can no longer be viewed as separate industries. They have merged into a single, interconnected ecosystem. A change in AI hardware architecture, a commercial rocket failure, or a shift in Bitcoin's price now creates immediate ripples across all three sectors. We see this convergence reaching the consumer level as well. This same week, Samsung deployed AI-powered health updates to its wearables, using these same proactive models to quantify our biology directly from the wrist. Navigating the coming decade requires moving past linear progress. The future is being defined by these violent collisions between our most powerful technologies.